Okay, so these guys are probably going to... They're not going to be able to catch me, I don't think. Hello and welcome back to our Duelist adventures, and we're going to be fighting an Aserai army here right off the bat, because these guys were actually in pursuit of a very large army from the Southern Empire. Obviously, I don't have to worry about protecting them in the least. At all. Like, they are perfectly fine. They don't need any assistance whatsoever. However, the main problem is I don't want these guys to pounce on our forces if they have a setback in their siege wherever they're actually heading. You know, they might very well be heading on over to a siege. They might be heading on over to just, I don't know, get some bread or whatever. But the fact is, I wanted to try and support them in some way, and this is my little way of doing that. Anyway, my main goal right now is to look for an opportunity, alright? So this episode is going to basically be me looking for an opportunity. I think I've already found one at Caesarea. Now, here's the main problem. If the Southern Empire is too powerful, and as a result are able to pretty much field any size army that they want to be able to crush anyone in their path, then we're going to be in trouble. And that's very problematic for me specifically, because obviously that means that I will have a very difficult time creating my own faction, because obviously that's the entire reason why I'm looking for that opportunity. I'm looking for a weakened garrison. Obviously, I can't rig it myself because I'm not being awarded any fiefs in the area. If I was, then what I could do is I could just basically go to the garrison there, take out as many units as I wanted to take out in terms of weakening the garrison's defense, and then declare war or defect or whatever it is that I want to do, and then take that thing with minimal problems. So that's a tactic that you can utilize, but obviously I can't. The only way that I could do that is at Chenopsis Castle, and Chenopsis Castle is probably somewhere I'm going to make a brief stopover at just before we end up leaving, so I'm probably going to head up there after this. I'll just cut away for that, because obviously travel time is kind of annoying. So we're just gonna get over there, take out as many units in the garrison as I possibly can, because here's the thing, it might actually be more useful for me to start my faction in a castle rather than a town. And I know that seems kind of weird, because obviously in a town you have access to, well, any number of different services. You got the trade screen, you got the smithy, you got the taverns, the potential companions, and obviously you have a wide variety of traffic coming in. So you've got caravans and villages and so on and so forth. Castles don't have any of that, which in some ways is actually slightly better. Because if you think about it, having all of those people, you know, mingle around your fief, it can create a little bit of a problem sometimes, you know, because if a caravan comes up and then one of your vassals, if you have any, decides to attack that caravan from an enemy faction, then it might very well cause them to get into a situation which they wouldn't have otherwise gotten into. In other words, attacking a vassal that's very, very strong, and then them getting defeated as a result of that. So that's something that we have to be on the lookout for. I have to be very careful about this, though. Oh, I'm getting shot. Tell my guys to charge in. Go, go, go. Oh, I got shot in the back multiple times. That's gotta hurt. That has gotta hurt. Anyway, thankfully, because of my speed, I'm able to quite easily avoid the damage that they're dishing out. But, well, you know how it is. Sometimes the ranged units are just too good, and they just go for a headshot immediately. Anyway, that is indeed a victory for us. You know what I'd love to see, actually? I'd love to see a speed up button while I'm still alive. Because in these kinds of situations, I'd hit that speed up button, and then my guys would just go and kill whoever it is, and I wouldn't have to run around randomly here, just kind of, you know, idling, pretty much. But anyway, I want to show you the world map just after this. because it's pretty interesting what has transpired in the very short time that I have been between episodes here, because I was actually planning on a much more extensive off-screen time for myself, because, well, here's the surprise, I actually have to do quite a lot of preparation, shall we say, before we create our own faction. If I don't, we might very well suffer a humiliating defeat, an embarrassing one, and end up in a situation where I cannot create my faction and then I have to join someone else, and it's just going to cause, well, all manner of hilarity and embarrassment for a variety of reasons. Anyway, we're just going to let all those guys go because you never know when they are going to come in handy. That's the point. We have to bear in mind that in the future we will require allies, and if I am mean or spiteful towards the opponent at the moment, then they're going to do the same to me later down the line. That's just human nature. Or, shall we say, that's just lines of code, potentially. We'll see, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it will just transpire because of their personality type. You know, maybe their personality type is just that way inclined, and they're just going to be like, I'm going to murder you no matter what. You know, that's the same with people in real life as well. No matter how nice you are to them, they're still going to be mean to you. That's, for some reason, the way it works sometimes, which is always very disappointing. But, you know, can't really do much about it, unfortunately. So, otherwise, I think I'm going to mostly be leaving these... Oh, no, I don't want to take the Crusade. Yeah, I'm just looking for tier 4 units, mostly. Tier 4 Imperials, tier 4 Aserai. And we'll take that guy and take some skirmishers, and then we'll just leave the rest. Alright, there we go. Not too bad, not too bad. Alright, so let's just take a look at the world map like I wanted to show you, and you'll see exactly what is happening. So you can see here that the Southern Empire has completely dominated this section of the map right here, the southeastern section of the Aserai territory. Now, bear in mind that Kasira, I can't see its garrison at the moment. I could move back over there and then, well, see what I could do. But obviously, I did say that we were going to go to Chinopsis Castle anyway. But, okay, so here's the thing. First things first, I'm going to go over to Kasira because I'd like to show you how many units are in the garrison there. Oros is probably going to take this castle in just a second. Personally, I don't really care what he does. However, I have seen a number of armies in the Southern Empire territory around here that are very, very strong. It seems like one of them has just disbanded, though, so that might work in our favor as we go forward here. Wait a minute. Okay, come on. Please get caught. I want you to get caught, please. Yes. Ah, no. Just about. Okay, if she gets caught, this is going to be absolutely fantastic for us, because I'm going to be able to swoop in there and help her out and hopefully get a bunch of the enemy killed. Hopefully. I'm trying to stay... Yeah, there we go. Trying to stay just out of reach so that now I can go in. And I'm just going to do an auto-resolve right here because bear in mind, we are going to be making our way over to Chinopsis Castle, and there's going to be a huge amount of units in the garrison there. Well, not a huge amount. There's going to be about 35 to 40 units there, and that's going to really make a huge difference to the amount of people we're able to field. Anyway, I'm just going to rescue all of those, and I'm thinking that we'll probably just take tier 4s from this. Yeah, I'll probably just take tier 4s. There's not going to be that many. Actually, there's quite a few. Huh. Okay. I'm kind of surprised about that. Yeah, definitely surprised about it. All right. So, yeah, otherwise, let's just continue to convert units. Bear in mind that I think I'm actually maxed out. Almost. One more, and then I am indeed maxed out. We'll let our friends take the rest of those prisoners, and then we'll just take all of the loot, and then we'll move on. All right, so where's Kasira? Ah, yes, I thought I passed it for a second there because I was so distracted by the interlopers attempting to murder our friends here, or shall we say our current friends, because no doubt we're going to be, yeah, we're going to be leaving relatively soon. All right, so Kasira, as you can see right now, obviously it has a huge amount in because I'm there, but you can see here, this is what it has. It has a bunch of vassal parties who are indeed extremely injured. As you can see, they've taken a huge amount of wounded casualties, but once they restore themselves, they're still not going to be that powerful. and their militia is also relatively diminished. However, once they have restored themselves, you can see here that they actually do have some pretty strong units in reserve. They have a huge amount of elite Manavliatons, they've got some cavalry, they've got Palatine Guards, they've got 23 of those, and a number of Imperial Horse Archers as well. So that is indeed a big problem. So that's the problem here. If I do decide to defect in a matter of moments, then it is going to be the case where we will be at war against the Southern Empire. And we're going to be facing these guys, you know, these guys with their extremely high tier units. And I don't think I have enough to be able to fight them. I mean, I've got 14 legionaries right here, 17 Palatine Guards. Amazingly enough, I actually haven't taken account of those in quite some time, so I'm actually kind of shocked by that. I never thought that I would get that many, actually. But otherwise, we have 16 Aserai Master Archers as well, and that is pretty much it. And then we just have a whole bunch of random units. So that's also a bit problematic. So I'm not entirely sure what we can do. We're over the troop limit, but that's absolutely fine because I'm going to be talking to this guy and giving him a couple of my excess troops. We'll give him these guys. Where's the militia? There's the militia. There we go. He's almost maxed out. I've also made him a quartermaster too, by the way. Duane is also a quartermaster as well as Najun. So obviously that makes a pretty big difference to their, well, I hope it makes a pretty decent difference to their army size, but I don't think that is actually the case because Duane is very low on steward skill, I believe, but doesn't really matter either way. So yes, anyway, back to the original conversation. I'm going to be at war against the Southern Empire, and you can see here that I think... I think due to my interference with them, they have become the strongest faction in the game, with the exception of the Crusade, of course. As you can see here, the Crusade have been building their armies back up. Britannia is also looking pretty strong. Vlandia is not looking very good either. The Western Empire is basically done. Northern Empire basically done. And Sturgia is looking all right. They're kind of sticking around the average marker at the moment. So we'll see how it goes, but for now, I'm going to head on over to Chinopsis Castle because now Jun has a lot of space in his army, as you can see right here. Yeah, he's got a massive amount. Alright, so here we are. We've just arrived at Chinopsis Castle. As you can see, we have 55, actually, in the garrison here. I have no idea how we have so many. I did not place any further units in here since the last time I was around this area. So we're just going to take all of them. And then we are going to be giving all of those extra units to Najun. And hopefully he's going to have enough space for them, because I think... I hope he does at the very least. Okay, so let's just give him all of these. Militia as well, Battanians. I think he has enough. Does he have enough space? He might not even have enough space right now. It seems like he doesn't actually have enough space. So we're just going to be giving him some of these militia here. We'll give him all of the recruits, and then he's got 130, all right? So he's got maximum, and we are just 5 over the limit. I believe that Duane actually has a couple of extra spaces. I think he's got 2. So we're just going to try and max out as much as we possibly can. Yeah, I think he does have 2 indeed. So let's see. Do I have any militia? It doesn't look as though I have any militia or anything like that. So I'm just going to give him Sturgian and Battanian Scout. And I believe that is indeed it. Alright, so we are going to now have to... I don't actually know what to do with the last remaining 3 units. I guess we will just get rid of... Ooh, I don't really want to get rid of these Battanian Horsemen because they're actually the highest tier of unit, and it would be a huge waste for me to do that. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to think about getting rid of some of these guys, even though they are indeed Aserai units. Ah, yes, I've actually just remembered something. Oh, that's quite interesting, actually. Okay, so when I leave the Southern Empire, I will no longer have the ability to form armies. That's something I forgot about. At least I think I will no longer have that, because as you can see, you need to be part of a faction to be able to get to this army screen to begin with. So that's going to be interesting, to say the least. Anyway, can I... Oh, I can't leave? Is it because I'm in an army? Yeah, it's because I'm in an army, right? Okay, so let's just disband the army real quick, because obviously these guys, they're perfectly fine to do whatever they want to do. I'm actually going to be speaking to them right now. Okay, can I not tell them to follow me? Is there no way to tell them to follow me or anything like that? Because if that's... if that's not the case, if that is the case, then that is going to be extremely problematic for us. I think that is indeed the case. I don't think we can even tell them what to do. Okay, well, this is going to be kind of interesting. Okay, so let's keep all holdings. Okay, so I can actually do that. Ah, this will avert a war, and nobles will dislike you less for abandoning your fealty. Aha! Interesting. Okay, I'm going to relinquish all holdings, because I've already prepared that. And so, yeah, so I can't do anything now. We're just declaring war on the Desert Cult. And I can't do anything with Najun either, as you can see right here. So, there's nothing for me to do. I literally cannot tell them what to do anymore. So they're just going to run around and do whatever they want to do, which is problematic, to say the least, because I was actually hoping that they would help me to take Kasira, which is obviously the thing that I mainly wanted to go after. But anyway, we are now declaring war on a number of neutral parties at the moment, which is absolutely fine. We might actually want to scout out a little bit of the Aserai territory as well, because I don't really want to poke the bear, so to speak, because the Southern Empire is going to absolutely crush us if I am unable to form an army that is capable of dealing with even the slight mid to high tier units that most of their vassals have. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Well, we'll see. Alright, here we go. We've just arrived nearby to Kasira. I've taken a look at the garrison. It is still extremely lightly defended, only 60 or so units there, and we're going to be attacking these villages. Obviously, I don't technically want to attack these villages, but they don't give me access to the kingdom screen to actually declare war in a formal manner, because obviously I'm not a part of a kingdom or anything like that. That brings me to the next point, actually, that I wanted to make. I don't know why the developers do not allow independent... should we say, independent entities in the game to be able to create armies, because obviously that does give you a pretty significant power spike if you're able to give your various, you know, clan members a number of relatively strong units and everything. But just think about it this way: you're not able to call for any vassals, you're not able to call for any backup of any kind, and well, that's what you got to deal with, you know? So, generally, I don't see the reason why we shouldn't be able to create armies. Obviously, you can create armies as a mercenary if you install a particular mod, apparently. And I'm actually going to be attacking this guy immediately if I can. Do you not want to fight me now? Apparently, you don't want to fight me now. Apparently, you just want to run away. Yeah. I mean, I know, see, now here's the thing. I know how this goes because we have experienced it before. If you've seen the Khuzait Khanate series, you know what I'm talking about, because in that series, I created my faction at around episode 20, as far as I remember, and it was an absolute nightmare. Yeah. It was an absolute nightmare. Obviously, we were dealing with a much earlier version of the game, but not much has changed in regards to the, shall we say, tenacity of the opponent, because they generally are people that will never, ever give up. They will always attack you no matter what, and that is just obviously their programming and their behavior, you know, is completely set out in stone. But as a result of that, it does make things very irritating sometimes, because in the case of the Crusade Khanate series, basically what would happen is I was attempting to take this one castle. Sestadime Castle, I believe it was called. It's sort of like in the middle ground in Empire territory, near to the border between two of them. Can't remember which one now, but anyway, the point is, I was trying to take this, and when I started creating the siege equipment, I would be attacked. And, well, you can imagine that that's kind of annoying as it is, because you just want to get into the siege, don't you, right? But that is obviously to be expected. You know, to be attacked once or twice, that is to be expected. However, because we had a horse archer-based army, I was pretty much, I wouldn't say invulnerable to any kind of damage, but it was very difficult for the enemy to dislodge us, because I had about 40 heavy horse archers at that time. And if you put them into an auto-delegation strategy, if you use that command immediately when you get into a fight, they're just going to circle around the opponent infinitely until the opponent is dead. And obviously that's a very effective strategy to have when your opponent doesn't have the greatest of units just yet. Because this was still pretty early on in the game, but I did a pretty decent job of leveling up all of those people and getting them into combat readiness for a potential faction creation. Now, here's the thing. I defeated the first one, first two, and then it got a bit ridiculous because the enemy started to come at me every 20 seconds or so. I don't know. It was actually quite ludicrous to watch because I was in a situation where I thought to myself, oh, you know what? I think I might have the ability to do this, because I defeated the first couple of vassals that came along, and then they just kept throwing themselves at me with huge amounts of recruits again and again and again, and I just wanted to complete my siege. But obviously, that was not possible at the time. So I'm very much hoping that, albeit I am a bit doubtful about that, but I am very much hoping that the developers might have changed the behavior slightly of these vassals. As you can see, apparently my parties are now being attacked by someone. Oh, there comes Oros. Oh, how lovely. Yes, apparently they haven't changed it. Yes, it is very, very similar. Okay, so that means that we are going to be attacked again, and again, and hopefully not again after that, but yeah, that seems to be the case at the moment, which I am not particularly looking forward to, because let me actually just take a look at what he has. Nothing too... He's got some pretty decent units, actually. He has some relatively high tier ones. He's running away now. These guys will want to attack me altogether. Thankfully, I realized on the way over here that I had a huge herd deficit, and I got rid of a whole bunch of my mounted prowess, basically, because obviously I can't have an army right now, so me having that many horses makes no difference. Makes no sense, pretty much. Okay, so these guys are probably going to... They're not going to be able to catch me, I don't think, now that I got rid of all my horses. But do you see how ridiculous this situation is? I mean, yeah, sure, you know, they want to stop me from, you know, taking this town. Okay, I understand that, 100%. However, I feel like it is a little bit too... I don't know. It's a little bit too enthusiastic, shall we say. I mean, I'm putting it lightly right there, but I feel like they are a little bit too enthusiastic to defend this area, and it basically gives no opportunity whatsoever for any action to happen, especially considering, again, especially considering I can't create my own army. If I could create my own army, this would be a completely different story, and I would have taken these really, really large fights, and we would have had some epic battles. But now, it's just a case of me running away from, well, people that we should be able to beat. And I think we would be able to beat them if Najun was here. You know, if Najun was with me... again, also, by the way, I did... I think you saw that. I did attempt to command him to join us. but that did not work. There were no options for that, which is kind of strange. Not entirely sure why that was happening, but yep, no options to do that, unfortunately. And there comes another one. Another 2. Great. Very nice. Yeah. So this is indeed the kind of issue that I had with the Crusade Khanate series as well, but because I had such a powerful army, I could pretty much take on any of these fights and be relatively confident that I'd be able to achieve victory. But because we are very much not an extremely proficient army composition here. I mean, yeah, you know, we've got 12 cavalry and 12 horse archers. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we've also got a very balanced infantry archer mix as well, which is always very good. However, the main problem is not really that. It's just the fact that we don't have any horse archers. And these horse archers are usually going to be very, very powerful. The Crusade, as I've said before, I personally feel like their horse archers specifically, maybe horse archers in general, I'm actually not sure about that, but generally horse archers are pretty good. And I think that they're probably the most powerful. I know I've said this before, and some people disagree, but that's obviously fine. You know, you can have your own opinion. I don't mind about that, obviously. But generally, I think that horse archers are probably the most powerful unit in the entire game. And just purely for the fact that they can deal damage without putting themselves in danger. That's the only reason. And I'm not talking about pure skills or stats or anything like that. I'm just literally talking about the fact that they can run rings around infantry and just murder them. They need nothing except a bundle of arrows and a mount. Well, and a bow, of course, because they got to use they got to use the arrows somehow. You know, they're not going to throw them at the opponent. But yeah, that's pretty much all they need. They don't even need melee weapons, technically, because what you could do is once you've eliminated a number of units of the opponent, you could just retreat if you want to. Obviously, that's a little bit questionable. You know, you could do it if you want to. If you want to ensure victory, then obviously you have the roleplay reason that your horses are just that much faster than the opponent, and you could do hit and run tactics. You know, it is possible for you to do that. But obviously, it is a bit questionable from a gameplay standpoint to retreat, go back in, retreat, go back in, because then you're continually going to get refreshed quivers for your horse archers. So that's the reason why I personally feel like they are even more powerful than the Battanian Fian champions. I know some people have said that the Battanian Fian champion is the most powerful unit, and I would agree. It is definitely in the top 3, but I probably would say it loses out to the noble horse archer of the Crusade. That's just my opinion. Could be that you agree with that, but maybe it's top 2, maybe it's a top 3 thing. I don't know, but I personally feel like it is just so good. That noble horse archer saved me so many times with the in the Crusade series that I just can't go with anything else, pretty much. Anyway, I'm gonna now I'm not entirely sure what to do here, to be honest. I do have quite a lot of space, so I guess I will just take tier 3 units as much as I possibly can, and then just try to convert them if we end up losing any people. We don't seem to be losing too many units at the moment, actually. I still have 142, I believe, so that's pretty good. I'm actually very surprised. But I guess it's because most of the enemies that we're fighting right now are indeed quite weakened from their engagements with the Aserai. So that might, play a somewhat small hand in it, but still, I am. It's still grinding my gears that these guys are after me. You know, I mean, I could tackle both of these guys, but this guy is, as you can quite clearly tell, he has much better units than pretty much any other vassal that we fought so far. So I'm just going to make another swing round, and we'll see what happens. Now, Jun has been attacked once again. I hope he's actually not going to get himself taken prisoner. Viviana is here. We'll try and tackle her as well. I'm gonna actually try something real quick. I'm gonna try an auto-resolve here. 5 deaths. That's actually not bad. Now, there's a reason why I do this. I'm doing this only for the fact that it gives me an opportunity to see the combat strength of our opponent in comparison to ours. So if in a pinch I get myself taken out, then I have the ability to make an informed decision in regards to whether I'm going to auto-resolve or not. You know, because if I try to get away or, you know, try to negotiate or something like that, then obviously I can do that too. But otherwise, there we go. Okay, so I'm actually over the limit now, unfortunately, but we might have the ability to fight someone else, or I could just get rid of a tier 2 unit if I have any tier 2 units. Yeah, there's an Imperial Archer here, so I guess... Oh, this guy? Yeah, we'll just let that guy go if he wants to. And we'll level up the rest. There we go. Alright, so we're having some difficulties. Let's just put that... I'm putting it lightly right there. We're having difficulties. Alright, let's just take a couple of other tier 3s, and then we'll move on. Oh, I missed a Zealot of Wrath there, actually. Oh well. That's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so Andruta is once again also in a similar position. Oros and Sakanis are both fielding relatively strong armies. As you can see, Oros even has 167 in his party. So this is going to be quite painful for us, even though he does have quite a lot of recruits. Sakanis, I think I'm a little bit more afraid of at this point. Let me just take a quick look at my parties. Yeah, so Duane has been completely eliminated, and Najun is the only one that is still alive. I'm not entirely sure how he's doing, though, because he seems to be attacked quite often by a number of things. Let me actually just take a quick look. Where is he? Oh, he's all the way over here. Right. Okay, so technically what I could do is I could go over to Chinopsis Castle and I could take that. However, it does have 260 militia inside, which is the main reason why I didn't really want to go after that, because if I went after that, it would indeed be a castle. I would be very, very far away from pretty much anywhere else that I wanted to expand, because I actually wanted to expand down in Azerai territory. But if that's the only way that I can do it, then maybe that's the only way I can do it. Anyway, another nice auto-resolve there. We'll just let him go. All these guys are max tier, so I won't be taking any of them, unfortunately. And then we'll just take the loot. Alright. So, I am going to... He's now being attacked by Gifor's army, and he's been captured. Yeah. Things are not going well. Things are not going well. Yeah, so I did kind of have in the back of my mind that maybe I should just stay with the Southern Empire, but I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to create my own faction and see if we could overthrow everyone. Oh well, never mind. That will be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.